All right, so here we go. We have the D4 finals coming at you right now, and Imperial is going to be taking on Central Florida Paintball. I'm Matty Marshall. We are here at the 2011 Chicago PSP Open, and I have Nick Sloviak up here from Chicago Aftershock, and we'd like to thank our sponsors for the 2011 season, Dye, Proto, Empire, and all of the others. Without them, this would not be happening. So yeah, here we go. We're basically going to be throwing down D4 finals. This is a race to 4.
I'm excited. Are you excited?
I am so excited. So very excited to watch. We have all the divisional finals coming at you, and then the pro finals. So yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting afternoon of paintball. 12 minutes is going to be on the clock, and we have under a minute to go before the start of this point. You know, Central Florida Paintball, that's actually one of the most, my favorite field in Florida. I mean, I've been there working on the nationals, the collegiate national championship there for a number of years.
Yeah.
This, you know, the Smiths, the Smiths that own it are just awesome people. Great, you know, actually great people. And I actually read on PB Nation that they have some sort of meeting that's going on because their field is trying to be shut down. Their neighbors, yeah,
that's not good.
Well, the neighbors are complaining, even though they don't. It's
CFP
it's
like they're an iconic name in paintball.
Right?
I've known about them since I started playing like 10 years ago.
I just read about this, so if you live in Florida and you're listening to this, try to lend your support to Central Florida Paintball, because it would be a shame and a great loss for the paintball community if that field were to leave. It would be terrible, absolutely terrible. So it's such a home for a lot of tournament teams. So here we go, Central Florida. You're looking at them right now. They're in green. Aggressive breakout all the way to the snake off the break. Let's see if it pays dividends. They already lost a player going up to the center off the break, and Imperial able to get into the 50-yard line, Dorito, but Imperial losing 2 players off the break. So it looks like it's 3-on-4 right now with the advantage. The body advantage going to Central. Nope.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. They lose that back corner bunker and another one too. So players just dying left and right here, Nick.
Mostly right, Matty. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, then we say that, and of course Imperial walks out the field losing their 50 snake player. So it looks like we got could be a 2-on-2 right now with Central Florida lined up in the snake corner and snake 2 now. And then you got one Imperial player moving from the back center over to the Dorito side. And I believe they have the snake corner. Imperial has a snake corner, so it looks like we got a 2-on-2. But a lot of chaos in the beginning. A lot of people dropping off the break, making some big moves, both teams, the snake and the break. Let's see if Imperial can do the right thing here and spread the field. Get a shot here on the snake player. He does.
He's trying to. Yeah, he's trying to come down the Dorito side right now.
He shoots the snake corner. Central Florida snake player, snake corner. So we got a 2-on-1. Central Florida player losing the guy. See how he handles this one. With Imperial now taking Central Florida's back button. It's the Imperial player needs to keep going.
Yeah,
he needs to use the bunkers to block out the snake player, because then that happens.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, that's what you do not want to happen.
Exactly.
And it looks like it's Spires. So Caleb Spires for Central Florida Paintball. And and he comes off. He was balling in there for a second.
Yeah,
I thought he might have pulled that off.
I'm really interested to know when they were saying he got shot. And there's no flag for the Imperial player to grab and hang. Oops.
So
and he's got an imaginary flag that he's about to hang. No one's perfect, ladies and gentlemen, and the PSP tries as hard as they can. But hey, luckily we have imaginary flags we can grab and hang.
And he hung the imaginary flag.
And as long as he's clean, the point should be good.
Will count.
We'll give it to Imperial. But
and it looks like it is good. So Imperial, with under 10 minutes to play here, score 1-0. And in a pretty crazy point. That was back and forth, and I was kind of excited to see a one-on-one there, but the referee stepping in, and apparently Central Florida Paintball player had taken a hit, Caleb Spires.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? He played really well, and his coach told him that the guy in the snake was coming down the tape, and he popped up and shot him, and apparently they traded. Late call by the refs, but that definitely would have been nice to see. It was a chaotic point, and for it to come down to a 1-1. It's always interesting to see how these young and up-and-coming players will handle themselves out here in front of all the people yelling at them, and that would have been interesting to see.
Yeah, it would have been. But, that's how it's just great to see. You know, these guys are living out the paintball dream right now. They're playing on Sunday. The world is watching them, and it's a test of oneself. You know, people always joke about that. Oh, you know, test yourself. But yeah, I mean, do you want to be sitting on your deathbed being like, oh yeah, boring ass life, and never really tried to see what I could do? You know,
exactly.
And so it's great to see that these young guys are out here, young and old. You know, again, everyone can play this sport. The gun is the greatest equalizer out there, and you know, the paintballs run faster than any of the fastest players out there. So
yeah,
anybody can play the game. And this is D4. This is the lowest division out here, or one of the lowest divisions. And so these guys are fighting to try to move up the ranks, try to prove themselves. And it would have been cool to see that one-on-one, because then they get that test, you know. And I used to love that. That's like one of the favorite parts of paintball, is when the chips are down and you got to kind of figure out what you're made of.
No, you couldn't put it any better, Matty.
All right, so on the breakout, you're looking at Central Florida Paintball here in the green, and they streak out, crossfield breakout, all 5 back bunkers, and now powering up the center and down the Dorito side of the field.
So the same thing with Imperial. They took pretty much all the back spots. You got one guy going to the center a little bit faster than CFP, but the CFP matches them and moving up a guy on the Snake side, as well as the Dorito side. You see Imperial counterpunch moving up on the Snake side as well, but both teams. Was going to say 5 alive, but of course, as soon as I go to say that, Central Florida loses their Snake corner. At the same time, Imperial moves up on the Dorito side. So I'm not going to say we're equal, or I don't know. I don't want to say anything else. I feel like I'm going to jinx somebody. They're going to be eliminated.
You're doing a great job. So yeah. Oh, look at this. Central Florida making a move into the stand-up can there in the center, but immediately it's shot, and then Imperial filling into Snake 1. So both teams have a player in Snake 1 right now, and bodies continue to drop on all sides of the field, and there's still 4 bodies left alive for Imperial, but there is no one on the Dorito side of the field, and now no one in the center. Is just complete carnage. It seems like, at least for the 2 points we've watched these teams play, that they can't keep anybody alive. Somebody's dying like every 20 seconds, at least, if that. Maybe every 10, 15 seconds, somebody's dying somewhere.
So say, as far as we can tell, it looks like we got a 2-on-1, 2 Imperial players versus 1 Central Florida player in the Snake. But of course, I'm expecting it as soon as I say that for someone to die. It was actually 3-on-1. So Imperial now smelling blood in the water. Back guys need to come and finish off this guy in the Snake. Let's see if they do it.
And Imperial trying to put it down on the last player, and there he goes. So now, ooh, you gotta be careful there, bud.
Once you see the ref signaling a guy out, you do not want to shoot him anymore.
Yeah,
you run the risk of getting overshooting penalty, or unsportsmanlike, and that'll definitely hurt your team, especially here in the finals.
Yeah, especially if you're winning too.
Yeah, we'll say now, as long as the Imperial player is clean, Imperial will be up 2-1. But yeah, like you said, the player's dying like crazy.
It's even tough. Like I was just about to ask you, well, hey Nick, what do you think CFP should do right now? But it's so hard to kind of figure it out, because you know it's really hard to work a game plan if you can't keep you can't keep 5 players alive for more than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's just back and forth, and you know it's been a very chaotic game so far here as we're watching Central Florida Paintball take on Imperial. Imperial. You know, again, it's only a race to 4, so Imperial 2 points away from taking this Division 4 Chicago Championship here away from Central Florida Paintball. Lineup for Central Florida Paintball: Evan Jones, Tyler Joseph, Joseph Martin, Billy Pearsall, John Smith, Caleb Spires, Austin Thomas, Stephen Vallejo, Kyle Wash, and the staff: Troy Bryant, John Smith, and Jessica Smith. Again, the Smiths running Central Florida Paintball, great paintball patrons, and they do a great job with that site. So now Imperial, on the flip side of the coin, Imperial's roster
looks pretty short.
Yeah, they don't have as many guys. John Bartolone, Shane Burgock. Wow, they have some interesting last names: Chad Angle, Joseph Hepner, Nathan Lale, Gregory Patron, Brandon Riblet, and Danny Schaffner, and Steve Vanderwist. Wow, that's a lot of difficult last names, and I apologize if there's any parents out there listening and I butchered your son's last name. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, so you know, it'll be interesting to see if anything really changes. I mean, with the chaos that's happening between the 2 teams, both losing bodies pretty early on and throughout the game. Mostly safe for CFP. Let's see what CFP can turn it around. Maybe see if they have the coach, the Smiths, who've been in this sport a long time. Hey, guys, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of time left in the game. Get your spots. Stay alive. have some fun.
And I'd also be saying, hey, look, win the dogfight. Obviously, this is a dogfight. People are dying all over the place, and people are making moves. Like, let's win this dogfight, man. Be the better team. Be the better player. All right, look at this. And I really like the aggressive moves that are happening here. But, again, bodies dropping everywhere. It looks like Central Florida.
Walking off in twos for Central Florida.
Yep, twos. As if the flood was coming for Central Florida, and they only have players. Oh, look at this huge move. He needs to get in there. Dives in all the way past the 50-yard line, and nobody picked him up, so great move.
Very big move by the Central Florida player, going all the way from his snake corner to Imperial's snake 1. Imperial have it looks like 4 bodies alive, back center Dorito 2, and a snake can, or snake cake. But the CFP player taking advantage of there not being a tape and going down now into Imperial's snake 1.
Yeah, and 2 Central Florida players now in the snake, and they look poised to hopefully get, for Central Florida fans out there to get, but one of them's taken out as he runs Imperial player running out to the corner, but he gets taken out as well. So it looks like, and another one dies over there on the Dorito side. It's mass carnage, pandemonium.
Oh, it's so great.
Cats and dogs sleeping together, mass hysteria. There's one center player for Imperial left.
But hey, the way these games been going, and say the snake player bounces up, and they're calling him out. So it looks like CFP will take a point after. Hey, they dropped 2 bodies on the Dorito side on the break, and I was going to give that to Imperial, but the cats and dogs sleeping together and mass pandemonium.
Mass pandemonium, man. And after,
but a lot of huge moves. And say off the break, Central Florida tried going up to the Dorito side pins next to the race to the A, and then a huge move that I haven't seen all weekend from anyone, going from
one other person, Kyle Spica from the Ironman, did the same thing.
I probably could have guessed that then if you would have, going from their snake corner all the way to their opponent's snake 1.
Yeah. Impressive
big
move.
Run.
Big run, too.
Hey, you see those opportunities, you got to take them.
Yeah.
Good move for him.
And we always talk about that, big bites versus small bites. And honestly, small bites is the way to go 99% of the time. But if you see the window, but we always say, hey, again, these are just paintball cliches, but they exist for a reason, and you need to take this to heart. If somebody gives you a move, you got to take it.
Exactly.
If they do give you a big bite, take a big bite. And that's just the way that this game should be played. Now, at the same time, you got to earn those moves. But if you did look at it and the window's there and you can make the move, but you want to err on the side of caution normally, because you can always work yourself in a bunker, but you can't work yourself back in the game sitting in the pit after being shot until the next point.
And most people would say like that move was, he could have went to the snake 1, no problem. The snake 2, no problem. And he had a player right in front of him in the entrance to the snake, and maybe he saw he was holding the lanes down and no one was on him, but you'd say 9 times out of 10 you're going to see pro players, or even the Division 1 guys, work together. It looked like he kind of just saw it and went. And like you said, playing the side of caution. This is a big game.
Huge game.
You know what I mean? You want to take it. You want not so much slow, but you want to play smart paintball.
Yeah, and probably the biggest game. Again, I'm sure there's probably some experience filtered in amongst these teams, but this is potentially the biggest game these guys have ever played. They're playing for the win. This is for the W right now.
The Chicago event's no joke.
Absolutely.
None of them are, but this is the second biggest event in the PSP, and you've got teams from all over the country and even the world.
I think there's 160 teams here or something like that. Yeah. That's a lot of teams.
A lot of teams, and everyone wants it, so you can't slouch here, man.
No, you can't. And the thing is that the Chicago event's big, as we got about 3 seconds before the start of the point. It's big because it's the middle of the year. People have been training all year, and you're starting to peak right around this time. All right, now on the breakout, looking at the split screen breakout here. Both teams breaking wide, and it looks like finally 5 alive for Central Florida paintball.
And Imperial making big moves on the break, taking the snake, and then a big secondary move on the Dorito side all the way up to the G2. Players getting checked out by the ref. And he's cleaning the Dorito side, but Imperial dropped their snake corner, as well as the CFP player, his mirror taking a walk. So we got a 4-on-4, but big advantage for Imperial now in the snake 2 as CFP matches him. Let's see if he gets a shot into the cross. Let's see, Imperial player making a nice shot, knowing his shot, shooting cross.
But look at this, 2 Central Florida players walking off at the same time.
So we got a 3-on-4 here. With a pretty good advantage going to the Imperial guys, being the snake 2 and the Dorito 2. But let's see if CFP can counterpunch there on the Dorito side. You can see, you can see the Central Florida player on your screen. There's another, he has a snake 2, his opponent's in snake 2. You can definitely see him looking at the crowd, listening to his coaches.
Yeah, look at this dual moves by Imperial. One of them gets taken out.
And another Central Florida player taking the walk.
Yeah, and another Imperial player taking a walk.
Wait. What's this kid doing in the middle?
Oh, he's still
still
alive.
playing. He had no idea. Okay, and what's he? Okay, now he's got no paint. And
I think.
Okay.
I think the Central Florida player just shot that referee.
Take him out.
Well, at that point, man, hey, if somebody's behind you and also, oh my God, there's somebody right behind me, you're
going to come up blazing.
You're blazing any silhouette that's there.
Yeah.
And Imperial.
I thought that player was dead. The way he was walking off the
field.
Yeah,
I thought so too. That's why we even called it. I was like, yeah.
It was going to be a one-on-one. I was like, this is going to be great. One-on-one shot. And so, again, pretty chaotic here. Say on the break, big moves by Imperial, taking the snake on the break, and a big secondary on the Dorito side. CFP going short, kind of staying alive for the most part, but once they let that guy get in the snake, their Imperial snake player shot cross and did quite a bit of damage. Now with Imperial taking this 3-1 lead, one more point and it's up. It's over, and Imperial will take the win. So we got to see if CFP can step it up here and get their act together.
Yeah, they really do. With 4 minutes and 6 seconds left, there's totally enough time for them to score 2 points here, and even the match, maybe take it to overtime. But they really need to keep their bodies alive. I think both teams are playing aggressive, pushing that aggressive envelope. That's really good to see. It makes for an exciting match. This has actually been one of the more exciting matches we've seen because of all of the chaos. But at the same time, it's really kind of tough to get a handle on what these teams really need to do better other than keep their bodies alive. You're watching a lot of guys die off the break. You're watching a lot of guys die in the bunkers. You're watching a lot of guys get shot on moves, and they're all over the place. So as a coach, it's really hard to kind of get that down and cement that into some sort of cohesive action that you can then say, hey, look, I think this is what we need to do. Let's do this. Other than, look, let's make sure that we're getting some guns maybe back at the shooters. We need to get out alive. And maybe go up the center a little bit. We haven't really seen a lot of guys getting shot off the break, heading up the center of the field. Now then again, the problem is if somebody gets wide on you, that's really almost impossible to live up there.
Yeah.
But this is kind of not easy. But so we'll see. We're going to know in about 40 seconds.
Yeah, and say it'll be a big test for CFP. With all that, let's hopefully their coach, had some words with them, and let's see if they can pull this one off. But yeah, it's been a very exciting game. The interesting thing to see is. This is D4 finals. So we'll take note of this game with how chaotic it's been, and then going into the next finals games, let's see if the games slow down, which it appears they kind of have as the games have gone up, save for the pro game. The games have kind of slowed down, and there have been really long drawn-out points with low-scoring games, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. But then again, we are going up and hopefully going up in skill level as we progress forward. We got there we go on the break. Well, let's see what happens here. CFP needs to get something going as they break out wide again and continuing to break out wide. It's running into the gauntlet, really. If you're losing a lot of guys, but then refusing to say die, and they make it out alive. So 5 bodies alive for CFP here, and Imperial
loses their snake player on the break. So 1 down for Imperial. So it's a 5-on-4. Big move from the back center all the way to the Dorito 1, which, he dies going there. He just put his head down and kind of ran. And, there was no need for him to make that big move. He could have went out to the Dorito on that side with his gun up shooting, found the bodies, talked to his corner player and worked that way up the field instead of just putting his head down and going.
And if you're a CFP fan right now, you've really got to be shaking your head. You get 5 bodies alive.
Yeah,
but
so
then
there might be
maybe a penalty.
No, wow, that was a surprise. But no, another Imperial player getting eliminated by CFP snake player. As his CFP's corner player walks off the field. So I'm only seeing 2 CFP players left. And I think it looks like 3 Imperial players. We got a snake corner, a back center, and a Dorito 2. Oh, good shot.
Nice shot. Crossfield
shot. Is that Caleb? Is that Caleb, the only one guy we know? Kind of?
Yeah.
It may be. So CFP player comes up instantly and shoots the Dorito 2 Imperial player. So we got a 2-on-2 here. With coming up on 2:35 left. Oh, CFP taking out the back center. So we got a 2-on-1. And now, hey, we've had this situation before in this game, and it's come down to chaos. So CFP really needs to work together to get this guy out.
And they need to do it quickly.
Yeah.
Because with 2 minutes and 23 seconds left, they still have to score 2 points. And we had the same situation before. Remember last game? You got to give yourself realistically, especially with chaotic as these guys are playing. Oh, there he goes, polishes off that dude.
And they need to be running that flag in. Let's go.
He's got to sprint it in, man. There you go. Yep. Grabs it. And running as fast as he can. Looks like Martin for CFP, and he hangs that flag. And team's got about 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in order to try to tie this game up, though. It's a good match.
I would say that was definitely that point right there was definitely way more controlled.
That was definitely
save for the crazy run by the CFP's back center player. That looked like paintball.
But that did.
That looked like two teams playing paintball.
Yeah, even though, you looking at CFP, they get 5 bodies alive, and then now knowing, hey, look, let's not die out of our bunkers, kind of have a hard time with that right now. They lose 2 guys out of the bunkers, and essentially at the same time. You never want death in bunches when you're out there. I hate that. I'd hate, like, game starts, you rail, you shoot your lane, you're doing your thing, and you start to yell to your guys, and you see
look back.
Your whole side walks off, hanging in their head, and you're just like, let me get back to that corner.
Tactical retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
Hate that. So, I mean, want to talk to you a little bit about this. Your guys' team.
I've been waiting for this. When are you going to hit me?
I know. I let you get settled in a little bit before I asked.
Yeah.
But, basically, you guys took second last year at World Cup. Everyone was loving it. Resurgent Aftershock. You got a lot of the same guys this year, however, underperforming this year.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh, man. Where to start? It seems like everyone on the team wants it. And we've all talked a big game about wanting it and believing it and knowing what do we have to do to be champions. Get that mindset, find that mindset. And I want to say, our actions are definitely not outdoing our words. I mean, I like to think we've done well. I mean, a lot of our games
are close.
The games are close, but
really
it's
close.
like if I could find the answer to finishing those out, though, because you can tell everyone's coming to them, hey man, you played great, it was close. It's like I don't want to hear that. I want to win.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell, hey, I don't want to have a close game. I want to win the game.
Yeah.
So
wait, hold on, it's like timeout called, but so timeout. So now we got another 2 minutes to listen to this explanation.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, it would appear that this event, we did pretty well on the breakouts. People would get to their spots, and then we just get dinked out. I got dinked out a lot, and it was the most frustrating thing. Where I think I'm good in my bunker. Okay, I took my guys off, I'm good, and then cracked in the tip of the loader, cracked in the hand. I'm like, what? I can't say. I was a ball magnet this event. There were heat seekers coming in on me.
Happens.
But I mean, we got a new coach, so working things out with him. It's been new. I don't want to use that as an excuse. It seems like we get to our spots, but we lose the moves, and we press it too much. We don't take the time just to see how things are going. I don't know. I mean, I really wish I had an answer. It's hard. It's hard just to be on the one side of the field and you just watch people die, and I don't know. It's been really frustrating.
I can tell.
It has not been a good time this last 2 events here in the PSP, and I had a long conversation with Mr. Rennick Miller the other night, and he's not happy with it, and we're going to try and set things straight, and we appreciate all the support we've got from all our fans on Facebook and PB Nation and what have you, but we've definitely not been playing Aftershock Paintball, and that's something we've been talking about, that mindset of playing Aftershock Paintball, and we just have to, our actions have to speak for our words or display that. Man, I can even say there's a million different cliches with that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting too, because I look at Infamous, and though they've played better than you guys this year, but at the same time they have a very talented They have a very talented roster, but have been underperforming. But I asked Nicky Cuba the same question. He's like, we had a meeting, and it was all about self-reflection and looking yourself in the mirror and really truly trying to make your weaknesses into your strength. And what are we going to do? What is each person? Pick 3 things that you're going to do personally to make this a better team. What are you going to do? Are you going to make yourself a better snapshot? Are you going to be more focused? And they just need, I think that team just needs to focus more. All right, we'll get to more of that in a second. But first, let's watch what could be potentially the end of this game. Imperial 1 point away from taking the victory here in Division 4 Chicago Open. And CFP fighting to stay in it, down a point. The score is 2-3 with 1 minute and 43 seconds left. Now, on the break, looks like Central Florida Paintball with 4 alive.
Yep.
5 alive for Imperial as they make a coordinated push up the field on the Dorito side and in the center.
Yeah, and CFP loses their snake corner. So it's definitely not looking good for CFP. Let's see if these guys can get on their guns and put some people in and make some moves up the field, because they're going to have to do that with 1 minute 15 on the clock.
Yeah, it looks like Jones coming off here on the snake side, so it's unfortunate time for him to die. And Imperial throwing a body weight, sloppily pushing up the Dorito side of the field.
And you can look at you can look at the other 4 Imperial players, and they're down on their knees, they're hunkered in, they're going to hold the line.
Oh, and another Imperial player gets shot out of the center.
Ooh.
So now we got ourselves a situation where it's 3 on 3.
50 seconds left in this game, so I'd say as long as CFP can play tight and dig out these last 3 Imperial players, we might have a tie game.
Well, he's got to get on. He got to get a move on, man.
He's got to get a move on, and CFP's Dorito corner needs to get up the field.
Yeah.
There's only one guy holding him in, the back center player. He's got no one in front of him on the whole side, and even CFP's back center player needs to get behind the snake player and work with him.
Well, another problem is I don't know. From that back corner, can you see the clock? But it doesn't matter.
No, you can't.
You got to know. You got to have an internal clock, man.
There's 20 seconds left in this game. CFP losing their center player and a kind of a sloppy move up the middle. I mean, if anything, you want to work with one of your sides, and if you know you can see your player.
There he
up
goes.
in the snake.
He's finally making his move,
Yeah,
but with 8 seconds, it's not enough time.
Too little, too late.
You see this all the time. I don't know what it is, man. It's like, look, guys, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you want a hint, if you're down 1 point and you're playing for the win, you cannot ever die. And there's 2 players right now for CFP Paintball walking off that should not be alive.
No.
Walking off alive. They died. I'm sorry. They were alive in their bunkers as this game ended, down a point when time expired. Unexcusable. That is unexcusable. Try to make something happen. I don't care if you literally step out of your bunker and take a barrage of paintballs to your chest. There's no reason that at around 15 to 20, actually I'd say about 20, 25 seconds.
Because you got to run that clock.
As soon as you see 20 seconds, 25 seconds, you got to still, as Imperial rightfully so, jubilation spills out onto the field, hugging each other. Congratulations to them, they win D4. But man, that really irks me when I see that happen, because you really can't do that. So anyway, congratulations to Imperial as they take the D4 championship. We got the D3 championship coming at you next. We will be right back. I'm Eddie Marshall here with Nick Slobiak from Chicago Aftershock. We'll be right back. Do not go anywhere.
Stay tuned.